Ready? Peace, family. What's good? What's good? Welcome to the RPGM podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you are liking and you are subscribing and you are participating in the comments. You know why? Because it makes me feel like you're actually here with me versus me just talking to myself and my awesome guests. Today's topic is one of my favorite. I always say that, but all of my topics are actually my favorite because I enjoy talking about stuff. But today we're going to be talking about red flags, right? A lot of times we have this very horrible tendency to ignore red flags. And we're going to talk about it today. Why do we ignore the red flags? If it's right there in your freaking face and you just do nothing about it. I have an awesome guest, and we're going to talk about that. But I also have the answer to a lot of those particular questions as to why do you ignore the red flags? I have I'm going to give you my very, very brief description of why people ignore red flags. Number one, because you don't want to be held responsible for the outcome that's going to happen. It's right there in your face. You know for a fact that person's not good for you, but you still decide to engage with that person. Why? Because you have issues, and we're going to talk about your issues. We're going to talk about your issues. And we're going to talk about your issues with my dear guest, one of my awesome friends. Welcome to the show for part 2, my dear friend, Lauren. Welcome to the show, Lauren.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be back. I'm so excited.
Yes. How do you feel today? How are you feeling today about this particular topic?
I love this topic because a lot of my situation could have been prevented if I would have really paid attention to the red flags, listened to my gut, went with my gut.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we look at the potential in a person and we don't really see the red flags as, hey, hold on, let me
calm down, pay attention. And I'm gonna say this right quick because I hate when people, not hate. Hate is such a strong word. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't like it when people say things like that person has potential, right?
I hate that.
Because a monkey has potential. You could train a monkey to do anything. You could train an animal to do anything. Everybody has potential, but potential without action and the capability of doing something makes you an asshole if you allow yourself to entertain that particular red flag, because that's the truth. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Yeah. So we left off talking about narcissistic people,
right,
in your situation, right? So this will be one topic that I am looking forward to hearing your point of view on all of the red flags. I know we didn't even talk about this last time, right? Did we? Did we talk about red flags?
We did talk about a few red flags. Okay. I don't think we got through a lot of them because we got to talking, but it's
So
pay
today,
attention.
our responsibility today is to get through at least 5 different red flags. Okay,
5.
Okay. 5. So I'm gonna hold you accountable. You hold me accountable.
Okay. All right, 5. We're gonna make it.
Dope. All right. So before we get into this, we have a new Bella. We have a new segment we like to call "Would You Rather." Cue that roll right quick. Yo, and we are back. So our new segment is called "Would You Rather." Okay, Lauren, I'm gonna read it out. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't even read it yet. Sometimes I don't like to read these because I like to be surprised and then come up with authentic answers. But I see that you're over there reading the questions already. So you cheating.
Yeah.
All right. So would you rather? Would you rather be oblivious to the pain around you or constantly fixated on it? Say it one more time. I want to get it in my brain. Would you rather be oblivious to the pain around you or constantly fixated on it? Which one would you rather?
Oh,
that's a good one, huh?
That is a good one. Bella comes up with these great questions, right?
That's a good one. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you hit it because I have an idea already.
There's no meeting in the middle, is it?
Yes or no? Would you rather?
I would say I would want to be fixated on it.
Why?
Because if you fixate on it, you can kind of fix it. You can try to work on it. You can try to make it better.
Yeah.
If you're fixated on it.
Right.
That's just how I feel. It's so hard because
right.
You don't want to be fixated on something because then sometimes you become that problem if you're so fixated on it.
Right. Yeah.
But if you're oblivious to it, it's going to keep going over and over and over for generations and generations. Yeah. So
that's true.
But I would be fixated on it because I want to fix it.
That's true. All right. And I think my obvious honesty is the same. Like, I want to fixate is such a, why are you so fixated? That's such a,
I know.
It's like I'm just stuck. I'm like, I have to. But it's like, I understand because I personally embrace pain, right? I want to feel the pain so I can understand the ins and outs of it, right? So if I don't know that it's happening, like you said, I'll just keep getting punched in the face over and over and over, and eventually have some freaking brain damage, which is actually goes back into freaking red flags. People like the shit is happening, but you're just so oblivious to it, right? Like, it's happening, right? But to be fixated on the pain, again, that's a tough one because you're so focused on it so much that you can't move past it, right? So I would honestly say I want to fix the pain because I want to be fixated on it. So yes, I'm gonna choose constantly fixated on it. All right. The next one is: would you rather never be afraid of anyone or never be sad for anyone? That's a good one. I'm reading one more time. Would you rather never be afraid of anyone or never be sad for anyone? This is such a mean question.
It's very mean. And my answer is going to sound so bad because I am a nurse.
Yeah.
And so we're around people who are sad, but I would rather not be afraid of anyone.
Okay. Explain why.
Because I've been in, again, goes back to my situation.
Yeah.
I've been in an abusive situation where I was afraid in my own home.
Right.
To even in the middle of the night, get up to go to the restroom. So that I never want to go back to that.
Yeah.
So I never want to be afraid of anyone ever again because I lived that. That was my reality for years.
Right.
So no, I don't want to be afraid of anyone.
That's a good one. I'm pausing for a second because the more I think about it, I think I teeter-totter between the two, but I know we have to pick one or the other, right? This is gonna sound bad me saying it out loud, okay? Because part of me is already not afraid of nobody. That part I'm not worried about that. But sometimes I don't want to feel sad for people, right? Because as my job as a coach, as a life coach, as a personal trainer, somebody who influences people, right? I think I would be better if I didn't understand your sadness, right? Part of me is just like, if I don't understand, or if I can't feel sad for you,
right?
I'm just going to tell you what I know,
right?
And then I'm going to influence you to do what I'm telling you to do. I don't know your sadness, right? So True. I'm just going to be like, True. No, hey, you need to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And you may be like, I want to tell you about my sadness, but I'm going to be like, I don't know about it. So you feel me? So that's part of me is like, if I really want to help people, don't get me wrong. Obviously, that's why I said, Bella, these are really hard questions because it just make you think about your character and your morals.
Yeah, you be like,
and like, dang, if I had to choose. But I think for me, because I want to see people be better. And I think the more I don't know about your sadness, the more I can implement my methods.
Right.
And my ability to guide you to where I feel like you could be.
Yes.
Dang, Bella, you make people think like we bad people.
Anyway. So bad.
All right, man. So that was dope. So our next segment is called Rhythm and Real Talk. Cue to real. Cue to real for real talk. Do you got a reel for that? I thought we had one. Okay, never mind. We just roll right into it. All right, so Rhythm and Real Talk is actually another one of my favorites, right? Because I'm a musician. So what we do, we pick a song that resonate with us, right? And it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be something deep. It could just be, hey, the song made me feel good, or the song made me think about something. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about red flags, right? So the song that popped up in my head, and I listened to all the way here like 5 or 6 times, is something. It's Gautier. It shouldn't have to go so long. Somebody I used to love. Yeah, I had to sing it out loud, right? So I don't know if you ever listened. Have you ever listened to the words of that song?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's a breakup song, obviously, yes. Right? But they never got over each other, and then they're like hating each other because one person cut them out. Like, well, he's like, you didn't have to cut me off. It's like, but you wanted to break up. So what are you mad about? Then it's like, no, you're just somebody. Like, So that part of me irritated me, number one. The more I listened to the song, I got into it. I was like, that's very irritating because people are not comfortable with the decisions that they made, right? And that's one huge red flag. And now you're stuck on the past relationship and what should have been, could have been, but you actually asked for it. And then they cut you off. And now you're mad because they cut you off. And now he's like, now you're just somebody used to know you didn't have to cut me off. You wanted it to be over, right? So people who are stuck on the past, those are people who you need to watch out for.
That's true.
Because they never move on, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they constantly focus on what somebody else did and they bring it into the new relationship. And now it's like, you can't have a normal conversation because you're talking about somebody that you used to love.
Which is it's a red flag.
Huge red flag.
Being obsessed with their ex or saying, oh, my ex is crazy. All my exes are crazy. Or, that's a red flag. Like, you really have to dive deep into that and ask questions like, oh, so wait, what happened? Why aren't y'all together?
Matter of fact, don't even finish because we coming back with that. I know we got a lot of questions, but I think that is, why do you keep talking about your ex? Red flag. Okay, cool. That's my song. Do you have a song?
I do. I actually do have a song. It's called What About by Janet Jackson. And if you listen to it, it's kind of older.
How's it go?
I'm not going to sing it. But it's actually, it's about an abusive relationship. And she's talking to her abuser like, well, what about the time you lied to me? What about the time you said no one would want me? What about all the shit you done to me?
Yeah.
Like, and so she's going over, what about the time you hit me? So she's going over and it's like she's expressing it. Yeah. And it's kind of like an internal struggle because she says in the song, I didn't have the courage to say this, but then finally she had the courage to say, what about all these times? And it's a really good song.
Okay.
It's not one that I think she didn't really put it out there. It's on one of the albums.
It's a side B song?
The other side. Yeah. I'm a little younger than you.
That's what wow, why you gotta dang, I'm a little younger than you. And on that note, we're gonna take a short break and we'll be right back. You guys stay tuned. Make sure you're dropping your questions in the chat, and we'll be right back, y'all. Peace. You funny. Can I move this? Peace, family. We are back from our break, and we had some awesome conversations off camera. But we also had a whole lot of comments. And Bella, you want to take a second to read some of our comments?
Of course I do.
Appreciate you.
All right. So we have Journey with Janet, and she says, and sometimes we tend to not know our own worth. We settle, and settling comes with making exceptions and excuses for others.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Sometimes we tend to know our own worth.
And then we have Anthony Wilson Jr. He says, I like to control my environment around me. Journey with Janet says that she'd rather be oblivious to the pain around her than fixated on it.
I wonder why.
She says, I can't control what's around me. I can only control myself. And then Anthony Wilson comes in again, says, I can't control people, but I can control how I handle or react to situations.
Yep. I see you, Anthony.
And Journey with Janet says, never be afraid of anyone. She says, I've also lived that, Lauren, and once you realize how weak the narcissist really is, we always come out the strong ones.
Absolutely. And that's very true.
And she would come in again, but how would you know how to mentor if you don't know their sadness?
Oh, that was a question. That's a good one. You know, I kind of want to answer it. I think I did answer it. Did I answer it already? Yes, I did. Janet, Coach Janet, she's actually one of my up and coming coaches that are working it right now. You know what? I'm gonna answer it again because I know. If I don't know what your sadness is, I can only tell you how I got to where I am and guide you to where I am without fully embracing your sadness. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't know, but this is how I became successful, right? So again, Janet, that's a really hard question. And when you come on the show, I'm gonna have you answer that question in person. So all right, so let's get into our hot topic of the day. Okay. The red flags. We started talking about, what did we leave out talking about? Oh, dating somebody who keeps bringing up their exes and how crazy their exes are, right? Now, we do have questions, y'all. And if you have questions or a statement about people who, you see the red flags and the signs that we ignore, drop it in the comment, right? But what is your experience on dealing with somebody who, let's say you're dating, but they keep on bringing up their ex? Like, how does that, translate in the relationship? You know, that obviously that's a red flag, but
absolutely,
yeah. So, like, how do you handle it? What would you do if
I'm a Scorpio, so we investigate everything. Okay, we're gonna find it out regardless if you tell us or not. We're gonna find it out, but if we really want to know. But at the same time, when I see somebody keeps talking about that ex, I just inquire. So what happened? Like, you know, I want to know. I want to hear the story to it. And it's, of course, they're only going to give their side. It's not, you're not going to get both sides of the story. But, okay. So what happened? When was this? How long ago was it? So how do you feel about it? I'll go into therapy mode real quick. How does that make you feel? How do you feel about it? And so you get to kind of see how they feel and what they're feeling, and what they say is very important. Like, if they bash the ex really, really badly, that's kind of that's a red flag. Like, hey, keep that in mind.
So why is that a red flag?
Because, and then explore about other, like, previous relationships. If everybody's crazy and everybody, then it's okay. You might be the common denominator, but what's really going on here? What really happened? And you really just gotta listen. Let them talk.
Yeah.
And the more you'll learn about that person and how they respond to things.
So, like, when you see a person that's bashing their ex, that means what is one thing that means, which should be a huge red flag? If they keep talking about the ex, what is
that? They're obsessed with the breakup. I mean, maybe not obsessed, but they're not over it.
Okay, so they're not over the breakup.
Yes.
If they keep talking about the ex.
Yes.
Right. So that's point one.
Yes.
All right. What's point two? If they keep talking about the ex, they're not over the ex. Point two is what?
That they're the common denominator. So let's try to figure out. Well, you don't have to figure it out. If you're dating them, like, don't make that your priority, but just know that this is something you may have to deal with if you decide to move forward with this person.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And let's do one more. What would be the third indicator that this is a red flag? Move out if they keep talking about their ex. Based on your experience, or just
we've gotten that they're still preoccupied with it,
right?
That they still care about that ex.
Yeah, because they haven't moved on.
Yes, right. You're stuck on it.
Right,
maybe you need to explore that with them, or you never know, that person may not even be talking to them.
they fantasizing this whole thing in their head.
Yes.
Which brings up another good point, right? So one red flag I've learned, and although I'm in a relationship and I've been in multiple relationships, so I get it, which is why I'm going to turn into a relationship coach. I get it now. Look, being married 2-3 times, multiple relationships, right? Yes. If you continue to bring up your ex, that is a huge red flag. Number one, you have a problem moving on. Okay. And that means it could possibly mean in the relationship, if y'all have an argument and you're over it and that person's still going, they don't know how to let go. That's a huge red flag. That means that argument which should just be a conversation.
Correct.
Okay, the conversation could lead into an argument that person won't let go of, and that's what builds up like frustration, anxiety, depression, and then the anger comes out. You know what I mean? So have you seen that trajectory when somebody what is the trajectory for somebody who begins to be aggressive and angry? Like that could be a red flag.
Like I said the last time, road rage is something that I missed in my relationship. Seeing how they act driving. I know some people might just be in their car like, hey, you turn, or but when they hop out the car type stuff, that's a problem. Or speed up to sign language the person next to them. That's an issue.
Right.
And take that, okay, they get aggressive when things don't go their way. And even your boundaries that you have, if you say no, how do they respond to that? How do they respond to when you tell them no to something? Their response says a lot.
Don't go, let's not move past that, because I think that's one that a lot of people don't recognize, right? So somebody says no, you have a suggestion, they say no.
Right.
What is a huge red flag in their response?
If I say no to something?
Yeah, like if they suggest something and you say no, and then they act this type of way, which is a huge red flag. What is that?
Oh, they act like a child. You know how kids act when you say no, and they get
temper tantrums
and puffy.
Yeah.
Well, forget it. I don't want to do anything, or if they can't, or if it's a boundary that you set and they can't respect that boundary, that's a red flag.
Right. So, but that attitude, what is their attitude like?
Can I butt in?
Yeah, go ahead.
They take it as an insult.
Yes, they do. You're holding something against them, or you don't want to do what I want to do, or they get upset, and you're like, it's not that big of a deal, but.
Yeah,
you should be able to do what you want to do. They should be able to do what they want to do, and then you make compromise in the relationship. That's
totally true. In my experience, and I've dealt with narcissistic people, bipolar people, schizophrenic people. I've dealt with them all. Which is again why I understand people and behaviors. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When somebody says no, like you made a great point, they feel like you're insulting them, right?
Yes.
But it has a lot to do with their own personal insecurities, right? So they're casting their insecurities on you, they feel like you belittling them just because I said no. It's like you feel belittled,
right?
Don't make me feel like, you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to stump on your little insecurities. Like you have that problem, you know what I'm saying? What you about to say? I see you about to say something.
No, it was your little insecurities.
Oh.
So it got me. Sorry.
But
yeah, and it's simple little things too. Like just, do you want to go to the movies? No, I don't want to go. And then it's a big blow up. Like, hey, I just don't feel like it, or and it's like, dang, I should have a choice in what we do as well.
Right.
But that's a big red flag.
Right.
Too.
So in your experience with somebody, we talked about this in the last, matter of fact, you guys should make sure you go watch the last episode. You'll learn a whole lot more about my dear friend Lauren. But your experience dealing with somebody who is narcissistic and abusive. And if now we're talking about them being childish when you say no, right?
Yes.
We got the red flag. Okay. How should somebody respond when they see that red flag? Okay. because you've been in that situation and you responded that way and you got those results before. If somebody's in a situation, okay, and they never experienced it, first time with a narcissist, first time in an abusive relationship, and they see it, and now we're telling you what the red flag is. Yeah. What should they do?
Run.
Simple.
I mean, run.
Okay.
Because they don't think there's anything wrong with them. So they're not going to change. Narcissistic people think it's everybody else around them has the problem, not them. Right. And so unless they are like, I'm narcissistic and I'm going to therapy and I'm going to work on it, then you got a little leeway. But again, they will use that to try to keep control of you. And they'll use that as like leverage. I'm going to therapy. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. But you see no change. You still act childish when you don't get your way. You still throw a tantrum when you don't get your way. Yeah. And then if they're abusive, they're going to be physically whooping on you, and it's not going to change. They might pretend to go to therapy or even go to therapy and act like they're doing the work, but then at home still behaving the same way.
Gotcha. So would you say that there's a time frame that you would give a person? Let's just say you're in a relationship with that person and they give you their whole story. They're like, I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to go see a life coach. I'm going to, go to work out. I'm going to become a better person. And you're still with that person, right? Is there a time frame for a person to be like, hey, look, you got 3 months?
Right now today.
Okay.
Would be like, I'm going to let you go do what you need to do without me. Mm-hmm. And then when you're done doing what you need to do, we can revisit if that's what I want to do in the relationship.
That's good.
I'm no longer allowed, I don't have to have you in my space.
Right.
And if you want to get better, you need to get better for you, not for me. Because at the end of the day, it has to be for you. You have to think you need to change. And if we separate and you don't think you need to change, go on your way. But me today now, there's no time frame.
I'm glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that. So, but what about the woman that is still in that situation, right? And we're giving y'all the red flags, right? And you're saying run, right? Like, and she's still kind of like teeter-tottering, and she's kind of buying into his whole I'm going to therapy and empathetic, sympathetic, right, mindset that he's projecting, which is totally a lie. But anyway, would you suggest like give her a time frame, like, girl, okay, give him 2 months or whatever? No, just absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Gotcha. Why not?
Because again, narcissists don't think that there's anything wrong with them. Now, if they do, you can give them a little time frame. But me personally, with what I know about them, no, I wouldn't.
Gotcha.
I would be getting myself together to go my separate way.
There you go. That makes a lot of sense, though. Let's pause right quick. Bella, Janet got a couple of comments in there. Let's read like the last 3, and then we'll go into the next part.
All righty. Let's see.
Coach Janet on it right now. She is lit. Thank you, Coach.
Leave before it's too late and you're mentally unstable. They love to mentally abuse you. Leave as soon as you can. She says it's toxic that someone can't respect your boundaries. They are usually the toxic ones. And I think she was talking about the red flags of how they respond. She said projecting, their body language. When talking about your exes, they're still involved. They're bitter. They're still emotionally attached. She says, for potential lies, I only want to invest in someone who is solely focused on me and our future.
Right. Dope. Like, appreciate all those dope comments, because we're going to keep them all and screenshot them and save them for later. This is a really good question that I want you to elaborate on. What was the hardest lesson to learn when it comes to relationships, your specific relationship? Like, what is the thing, like, it took me forever to learn this particular thing?
Let me see.
I know,
of the many things.
Right. Let's do your top 2 at least. Like, what was the thing? I have like 10 in my head right now.
So one of the things that I had to learn was to love myself. And if I can love myself, it doesn't matter what anybody else, if anybody else loves me, really, because I have respect and I love myself first.
Yeah.
So I realized in those relationships, I would put myself, I'd be the last thing. I would give up what I wanted to do, my dreams, my career, and I would put the relationship and that guy first. And so I learned, okay, Lauren has to do what Lauren needs to do for Lauren. Right. So because if I'm stable and I'm on my own and I love and respect myself, if somebody else comes in and they add to that, great. Yeah. If not, I'm still good anyway. Right. So loving yourself and not trying to find love from somebody else.
That's good. I'm gonna ask you this question. It's gonna really sound borderline sexist, just in my opinion, right? Only because I just see that common factor. Well, I experienced it as well as a man too, like putting myself to the back burner. Right. But because women, you guys are just naturally nature driven, nurturing, right? Why do you think women take so long to put themselves first in situations when they know there's no long-term self-benefit for it, but everybody else is benefit from it?
I think it goes back to potential. What you mean? I think it goes back to not only potential, but fairy tale. I blame Disney for this. No, I'm just kidding. But we watch Cinderella and we watch all these fairy tale love stories where Prince Charming comes in and saves you and saves the day and takes care of you for the rest of your life. So that every girl or woman has that dream of, getting married and having kids and this fairy tale lifestyle. Right. And so I think we think about that growing up, and then when we get older and we start dating and we realize this ain't Prince Charming. Nobody's coming to get me. I got to do this on my own. Yeah. And that realization hits. Yeah. And you're like, okay, let me get my stuff together. Let me do this for me. Yeah. But also it doesn't really show you love yourself, love yourself. Right. Be there, put yourself first, learn, and then of course we become moms, and so the children come first. Right. And on top of that, I'm a nurse. Yeah. I'm taught to take care of other people. Right. And so therefore sometimes I lack in taking care of me. So I really have to stop and be like, okay, I need to get myself together. Yeah. I need to do something for me, decompress. And I think we just get lost in life. It's hard being a woman. Let me tell you, okay?
Tell me, I clearly don't know.
Let me tell you, it's hard being a woman because it's so much. You're not supposed to work. You feel bad when you do work and you have kids. And You
say you feel bad when you do work?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
A lot of moms, when they go back to work after they have kids, they feel bad because they're not spending time with the kids. They're going back to work. Oh, okay. Things like that.
Gotcha. That's normal. I'm asking because I'm literally don't get it.
What do you mean?
I say a lot of times moms are criticized for going back to work.
Correct.
There will be other people going, why aren't you
staying home? Yeah.
That's what my mom had to deal with.
Exactly.
Really?
My dad told her, why are you working? You should be staying home.
Yes.
There are women that are criticized and then they learn that and criticize other women.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
So we're damned if we do, damned if we don't,
That's why I don't give a shit. I'm sorry. I know it's hard. It's easy to say because I'm not a woman, clearly, but I think one of those kind of goes back to what we're talking about. If I don't understand this, I'm like right. You have to be like, just do what's best for you.
Correct.
And quit allowing the stigma and the expectation and the propaganda. I'm gonna say propaganda on purpose.
It is,
because it literally is like, oh, women are supposed to do this, men are supposed to do that.
Yes.
And that's a fairy tale. It's a freaking fairy tale. Like,
it's a fairy tale.
And then again, when we live in this delusional world for so long, and then you realize this is the real world. We're no longer in the matrix, right? So now you have to make these particular moves. And now I understand why it's hard. I think it's hard for people in general, but it is harder for women because of the expectations and then the limitations, right? Mm-hmm. And then for the most part, you do a whole lot by yourself. You know what I mean?
I have another thing to add to that, because you were telling me last time about my boyfriend, how he needs to surround himself with the right people. It's the same way for girls and women. They need to surround themselves with the right people, the people that support them and are okay and say, I don't care what you do, go do it as long as you're having fun.
Yes.
Right.
I do have a question before we get to our final thoughts. As I said, I'm in a relationship. It's very new. What are some red flags just to look out for? And what are some red flags that I could be giving? Like, I want to know the perspective of a man versus a woman when it comes to those red flags. If you would just list a few, and then you can get to your final thoughts.
Absolutely. I'm gonna start off with a few things, but then I want you to close it with it, right? In a relationship, the number one thing I would focus on is communication. If you cannot have a amicable, decent, unargumentative, angry conversation, that is the hugest red flag in the world. I just need you to be able to sit down and talk to me and be able to say, I'm getting angry right now. I'm finna stop. And not you be like, what you stopping for? No,
give me a second.
Give me a second.
Yes.
So communication would definitely be number one. The second biggest thing is like this too, self-value. Like if you don't value yourself enough, right? It shows in, I'm gonna call it out, call a spade a spade. It shows in your body, it shows in your money, and it shows in the people that you're hanging around. So if you don't value yourself enough, why in the world would I be in a relationship with you if you don't value me?
Right.
So if you're out of shape, overweight, unhealthy, broke, hanging out with broke people, what do you think you're gonna do with me?
True.
You know what I mean? So those two things, communication and self-value, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If a person is displaying any of those, run, like you said. Just run. Don't even entertain it. Again, we always, and I am guilty of this myself, always wanted to fix people. I spent 20 years trying to fix people, and now I do it for a living. And I'm like, you're gonna pay me to fix you this time. But so stop trying to fix people. That's all I got. What you got?
Definitely be aware of anyone that puts you down. If they get angry and they start putting you down and calling you names, and that's red flag. Again, communication, you feeling comfortable to communicate with that person as well, and not feeling like I can't share my feelings or anything with this person because they're going to get mad. And also, like, another thing is how they value themselves too. Like he said, who are they hanging around? What are they doing? What aspirations do they have? Are they okay being mediocre, or do they strive for something greater or bigger? What are their plans? Can they plan? Is this somebody you could see spending your life with and being in this relationship how it is now? Because what you don't like now, you're really not gonna like when you get married.
Oh, that's a good one. Yes. That's a really, really good one. I know we're gonna close it out and everything, but that's a good one. Like seeing the red flags right now, and then people say things like, "Oh, when we get married, it's gonna be better."
Oh, and how they spend money.
Oh, that's a good one. Please talk about that real quick.
Their finance, like, how are they good with paying bills? Do they pay their bills on time? What's their credit like? Like, you don't have to get deep into that, but just
you need to get deep. Look, I'm 44, and as she pointed out, I'm older than her. But I don't care what nobody say. I didn't really learn about credit until my late 30s.
Yeah.
You know, honestly and truthfully, I was like, this is how the system works,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
And again, I don't care what anybody says. You know, it's been proven, it's been true. It's in the Bible, it's in the calligraphy, in the Quran, everything. Money does answer all things. The love of money is the root of all evil, but money does answer all things, right?
Right.
And because we live on an earth that operates on money, you need to have an understanding of how money works, right? Doesn't mean you have to be a finance major, none of that stuff like that. But I know for a fact, especially now, if a person does not have their especially, all right, this is for the women. I'm looking at the camera and say this specifically. And I know this, but again, I've been married multiple times in multiple relationships, and I'm pretty sure Lauren can attest to this. If a man does not have his finances right, he could be fat as all outdoors, right? But let me tell you something. If he got his money right, he's going to feel very confident about himself, okay? Men who are out of shape, ugly as all outdoors, if they got money, their confidence level is through the roof, right?
True.
So if the man don't have his money right, leave him alone, because at some point in time, his insecurities are going to come out because he don't feel like he could provide. Our job is to provide. If we can't physically fight, I'm gonna pay somebody to know how to fight. You know what I mean? But that's just the truth. I've learned that. I'm like, look, check his credit. Have that conversation about it. Yeah. Be okay with saying, dude, how much money is in all of your accounts? You know what I'm saying? If you don't have that conversation, leave him alone. He's not comfortable talking about it. So that means when it comes down to real conversations and real life topics, he ain't gonna talk about it.
I'm not saying that's first date question, okay?
I'll be like,
that's not a first date question, okay? Yeah. But
what is a first date question then?
Are you single?
I guess so.
Like really single? Yeah. Are you married? Are you separate? Like, because people go on dates and don't be divorced. I mean, like people think I'm crazy when I ask, no, really, are you single? Like, are you married and separated? Yeah. Like, are you single? And they look at me crazy, but that's hey, true. Again, true. I'm a Scorpio. I'm gonna find it out anyway. So you better tell me the truth.
Oh Lord! All right, we the part I don't like. This is our final thought of the day. I'm gonna leave my quick final thought, and Lauren, I want you to close it out. My final thought of the day is one of the things I'm gonna reiterate what we've been talking about. Is do not avoid and ignore the obvious red flags. Okay, if there's something that as soon as somebody says something or does something, and you get that tingling in your gut, that is a red flag. It's just like, don't ignore it, right? Because again, one thing I love what you said earlier is you think that once you get married, you're going to fix it, or it's not going to be the way it is now. No, the way it is now is the way it's going to be later, but even worse because now you're married to that person. So don't ignore the obvious signs and the things that make you uncomfortable, and then be okay with saying the things that don't make you uncomfortable, that make you uncomfortable. If it makes you uncomfortable, just say it, and then don't deal with that person no more. That's all
Absolutely.
I got. What you got?
Definitely listen to your gut. Go with your gut 100%. If you have a little twitch in your gut, don't let that pass, because if whatever you believe in, the Holy Spirit, whatever you believe in is telling you something. So listen to it. Go with it. Ask questions. And if you don't feel comfortable asking questions, that person's not the one for you. So just go with the red flags and don't excuse them. If you see a red flag, nip it in the butt right there. Like, talk about it. Right. Ask questions. Ask the hard questions, like the financial questions. Ask them, how do you act when you get mad? That's another question I ask now. How do you respond when you don't get your way?
That's a good one. Good stuff. And Janet said core values, which I think is so awesome and key. Most people don't even have core values. They'll just kind of fumble around and say, "Oh, be happy." That's stupid. Shut up. You know what I'm saying? Sorry. I mean, it really is. You know what I'm saying? Loyalty, like that should be a core value. You know what I'm saying? Open communication, you know what I'm saying? That should be a core value. You know what I mean? Respect for self and respect for others. That should be a core value. You know what I'm saying? Family, that could be a core value. You know, all these things that really, really matter. And it just tells your character, shows how you operate and how you move. And then gratitude. Gratitude is one of my biggest things I like to focus on. Like if you're grateful, 9 times out of 10, you will be kind of a chill person. If you're an asshole, you're probably going to be an asshole.
You're gonna be. There's no you probably.
That's it.
You're gonna be.
Right, dope. So thank you guys so much for God. I guess it got to be part 3 now.
That's it. That was quick.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know. That's how it happens though. But continue to like and share. Thank everybody that stayed the entire time. Janet, appreciate you very, very much. Lauren, I want you to give us. I know you said something before, but I want you to close out with some advice for women who are in abusive relationships and ignoring the red flags. What would you tell them?
Get out. Don't stop making excuses for the bad behavior, because that's it. When you accept those red flags, you're accepting that behavior. So stop accepting that. Raise the respect that you have for yourself. Gather yourself together. If you need to get finances together, get that together. If you need to get shelter together, try to find somebody safe that you trust that can help you. Definitely don't keep it a secret. Whatever's going on, you have to reach out to somebody to let somebody know if you are stuck in an abusive relationship, and let's get out of that. We have so many resources that can help you. The Women's Center, women's shelters. They'll allow you to stay there for however long you need, but get out before it's too late. If you turn on the news, you see so many people being murdered, suicides due to domestic violence. If I can get out, you can get out. And do not allow somebody to abuse you. Abuse is never okay. So work on getting out. Come up with a safety plan. Come up with somewhere to go if they get abusive. Come up with someone that you trust to help you. Just get out, please.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lauren. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.